Pygmalion Act 1. 1. Where did Freddy go? And why? He went to get a taxi for the mother and the daughter as it was raining heavily. 2. What did Freddy do while running to bring a cab? He crashed into a flower girl. So, he knocked a basket out of her hands. 3. What was the flower girl doing? She was hurrying in for shelter because of the heavy rain. 4. What was wrong with that girl? She sold flowers in the streets. She had poor language. She couldn't pronounce words correctly. She needed to be educated to be able to work in a flower shop. 5. Describe the flower girl. She was about 18 or 20 years old. She wore a dirty hat. Her hair needed washing badly. She wore a cheap black coat. She had a brown skirt with a coarse apron. 6. What did the flower girl want from the mother and the daughter? She wanted them to buy flowers from her and give her money. 7. Why are there a lot of people into the portico of St. Paul's Church? Because it was raining heavily, so people rush into this place for shelter. 8. What was the note-taker doing? He was writing every word the flower girl was saying to the gentleman. 9. Why was the flower girl afraid? She was afraid that people might think of her as a bad girl who was talking to gentlemen in the street. 10. What was the note-taker's work and name? He was a professor of phonetics. His name was Henry Higgins. 11. What did he say he could do to that girl? He told the gentleman that in 3 months, he could make that girl as a duchess at an ambassador's garden party, or get her a place as lady's maid or shop assistant. 12. What do you know about Professor Higgins? He was a phonetician. He was able to know the origin of any person just from his speech. He was a bachelor who didn't believe in love between man and woman. He lived as a machine and dealt with people as heartless machines. He was a self-confident person who considered others inferior to him. 13. What do you know about Eliza? She was a low social class flower girl. She was a shrew. She knew nothing of how to speak in the beginning. She was a good and kind girl. When Freddy got a taxi, but his mother and sister had left, she saved the situation by taking the taxi. 14. 14. Give a brief summary of Act 1. One night, there was a heavy downpour of summer rain that fell suddenly. Many pedestrians went into the portico of a church for shelter. Mrs. Ainsford Hill and her daughter Clara were waiting anxiously for the return of Freddie, Clara's brother, who went to look for a taxi for them, but he didn't find anyone. A flower girl came at that time for shelter too. Among the people there was Professor Higgins, a phonetic teacher who wrote samples of the dialect of Eliza, the flower girl who thought him to be a policeman. Higgins impressed the people by being able to identify their origin from their speech. This drew the attention of Colonel Pickering, who came from Ingeworley to meet Professor Higgins. So at the end, they left together the house of Higgins when the rain stopped. The mother and the daughter decided to walk to the bus stop to take a bus as it stopped raining and Freddie was late. At last Freddie came with a taxi, so Eliza took the taxi instead and went back home.